Suit up, strap in, warm the tires, and leave on yellow. Time for the MitsuTimes podcast, presented by MitsuTimes.org, the home of the fastest Mitsubishi cars. With your host, Josh.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Josh from MitsuTimes. Today, my guest is the legend himself, Mr. Bill Walls. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well. I don't know about being a legend.
Oh.
I'm doing quite well, sir.
You're a legend, at least in these parts, huh?
Well, thank you.
Yes, sir. You've been doing this for a long time, and your car certainly is a legend.
Well, yeah, it was a legend when I bought it, so I don't know how much credit I can take for that. I'm just an old hillbilly that wants to go fast.
Yeah.
And I bought a car that would do it, and I feel entirely lucky that I did that.
When I was researching I personally didn't realize, but I learned that your car was the first ever 4G63 powered Starquest.
Was it? Now, I didn't know that myself.
That's what Facebook was saying. So,
well, I know it's one of the first. I don't know if it was the first or not.
Well, we'll roll with it. Someone will correct us in the comments, I'm sure.
Well, there's a guy named Aaron Poe in Cincinnati that Busher helped. I'm not for sure whether that was before my car or not. But anyway, it was one of the first.
So, Bill, tell us about the setup on it.
All right. Well, presently, I got a 2.9 long rod, 4G63. Force Engineering put it together for me. It's got R&R rods and 10-to-1 West Coast pistons. It's got a welded head, O-ringed. Right now, it's got the Hencher adapter with a Power Glide. Got a 456 rear end. And I had to take out the original IRS suspension and have a triangulated 4-link put in it because just to keep from breaking so much stuff.
Yeah.
You know? And I also got 8 2100cc injectors, a mechanical pump, great big giant air-to-air intercooler. I don't know where else to go with it. That's a whole lot of modifications on them old cars.
For sure. What is that rear end out of?
The rear end is out of a 90s Mustang GT.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
And I took it to a place called Bivens Race Cars in Owensboro, Kentucky, and they customized a 4-link, a triangulated 4-link, and installed it in my car. It's wonderful.
Good deal. So, Bill, what is it that made you choose this platform?
Okay, that's an interesting story. I had a DSM at the time, and was having local races at the local track. They called them Car Wars, and they had a lot of import classes. And I was the fastest DSM around these parts at the time. This is late 90s, early 2000s. And there was this Supra that kept on showing up at the races, and I could not beat him. I was tearing up driveline parts. I had a 5-speed, a 1990 Eagle Talon. And I was having a hard time keeping up with this guy. So I saw Eric's old car up for sale, and I decided that's how I'm going to beat this Supra.
Heck yeah.
And I bought that car and got it to the racetrack, and remarkably, the Supra quit showing up. I never saw that Supra again.
You scared him off.
Well, I don't know if he just gave up, got too expensive for him or what, but, those things happen in drag racing.
Absolutely. So, Bill, what was this car like when you picked it up from Eric?
Okay, well, first off, I didn't get it from Eric.
Oh, okay.
As a matter of fact, the guy I bought it from also owned Kevin Jeweler's car.
Oh, no kidding. Wow.
Kevin bought his car from the same guy I did. So there's that. I bought it as a roller.
Okay.
It had no transmission, but he did provide a junkyard 4G63. It had an 8.5 cage in it, which is the same cage as in it today. Eric had a TMO ECU in it. I don't know if you remember those.
No.
But those back in the old days, it's the original factory ECU that was modified.
Okay. So when you picked it up, did you have any original goals in mind? You wanted to put that 8.5 cage to work?
Well, yeah. I didn't think about 8.5s at the time. I was just thinking about running 9s and beating that damn Supra.
Yeah. Sometimes that's all the drive you need, though, ain't it?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. It hit 9s on my second pass.
Wow.
Let me tell you about my first pass, though. It was really interesting. I got used to drag racing with my 5-speed Eagle Talon, and I learned to shift kind of gently. Or I'd tear a synchronizer up or something.
Yeah.
Now I do granny shift all the time. So when I got this Conquest with the power glide in it, my very first pass, I had to manually shift it, and when I hit about 7,000 RPM, I gently put it into second gear, and it hit so hard, my hand resting on the gear shift fell back into first shift.
No
first
kidding.
Gear so I reverse shifted it. I thought I tore stuff up, but it didn't. And on the very next pass, I learned that you have to really push hard to shift those power glides.
Yeah.
With the shifter it's got, you could really jam it and not hurt a thing. I wasn't used to that, and I learned quickly about that. But it scared the hell out of me when I lowered it back down in the first gear unintentionally like that.
But that was a wild ride, that first pass, huh?
I was a nervous wreck. I still get nervous on the first pass of the day, but yeah, that's what excites me about drag racing is that adrenaline rush.
Yeah, for sure.
Pull up to that staging light.
So, Bill, you've had this car for a long time. What different setups have you had on it that you really, really liked?
Well, I've had the basic setup all along. I started out with a pusher adapter, and after several years, it worked well, no problems with it. But I eventually went to a hincher setup because of the you can use off-shelf GM parts and stuff, and it's a little stronger setup, I think.
Yeah.
So I went to that, and the original stock RS rear suspension system has a lot of weak points, and I kept breaking stuff, and those parts are becoming less available over time.
Oh, yeah.
And I had some 800 horsepower axles in it, but the axle cups started breaking.
Oh, wow.
So, and those parts were starting to be hard to come by, and the Starquest original enthusiasts didn't like me breaking their parts, I don't think. And they just getting hard to find. So they only made the 6-bolt axles for 2 years, so those parts were hard to find.
Mm.
So the only thing to do was to just put something else in there. And I went to Bivens Race Cars in Owensboro, and they put in a really nice 8.8 for me.
Good deal. What about as far as turbos? Have you been through a lot of those since you've owned the car?
Okay, well, one of my big problems is my budget.
Gotcha.
And I've always bought used turbos.
Okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
And I have to buy whatever my budget could afford at the time, and I would run a turbo till it gave out, or I came up on a good deal. And right now, I've got the biggest turbo I've ever had on it. It's an old Garrett 76 millimeter.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Same thing that Shepherd run back in the day. So that's what's on my car now.
You have a big old hoss on there.
Well, yeah, but a lot of people are running 88s now, I think.
Yeah, that's true. And the Evos.
Yeah, yeah. So I got an old stock 6 bolt and in my car. No Evo stuff, probably won't change.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
All kinds of 6 bolt parts, so that's why I'm kind of stuck with it.
So, Bill, what motivates you to keep pushing this car?
I just like drag racing.
There you go.
I mean, I just want to win or lose. It's always a blast to be at the track.
Yeah. You know, when you got eliminated at the shootout last year, I was like, man, you know, I'm almost afraid to go over there and see how Bill's doing, see what's wrong with it. But you were still in high spirits. I was like, oh, okay. You know.
Well, there was nothing really wrong except for a boomer trying to control the ECU. I'm a boomer, and I may not be good at tuning.
ECU's more advanced than you are, huh?
Yeah. But at the shootout, I had some engine protection stuff set too sensitive.
Yeah.
And when I launched it, it just shut the motor down. That's the ECU shut it down like I told it to.
Yeah.
And I might have given it too much strong information and didn't have it set right. So that was my own fault. And I'll do that again probably.
It's better to have them too soft than too hard, huh?
Well, you got to have it just right, and that's hard to do.
Yeah.
For me. Some people are good at it. I had a guy helping me out with the ECU for years and years and years. And when I went through it on my own, I make a lot of mistakes.
No, I understand that. It's not easy.
I'm an amateur. I'm not a mechanic. Like I said before, I'm just an old hillbilly who wants to go fast.
So, Bill, what's your favorite thing about this car?
It's a blast to drive. The automatic versus a 5-speed is so much better for drag racing. And a trans brake. Oh, my God. That's where it's at. A lot of people like 5-speeds and stuff, but that trans brake launch is so thrilling. I just love it.
That's awesome. So, Bill, you think you could, if you could go back in time and not pick this car up, would you?
Oh, it's the best move I ever made.
Good deal.
Best move I ever made. I thought I paid a little too much for it in the beginning, but not really.
Got your money back in smiles.
Yes. I've had this car for 20 years.
Wow.
So, yeah, I bought it in, I think, 2002 or 2003, somewhere around in there.
That's crazy, huh?
Yeah, I just, like I say, my budget keeps me with the same car all the time, just making small improvements over time. And, years ago, that's 15 years ago or so, I run an 8.8 in that car. Without a whole lot of big fancy motor. I mean, it had eagle rods and not a real built motor, and still run 8.8s.
Yeah.
And over time, I have built the motor. It's 1,000 horsepower capable now. And I still stuck in the 8.8s. So just because I'm an amateur and don't really know much about what I'm doing, I just love doing it.
You're going to make that one adjustment that puts you way ahead of where you are now here. It's just going to be one of those things. You're going to be like, man, wish I'd have known that before.
Well, yeah, it's I've run 530s in the 8th, but I can't get that transferred over to the quarter mile.
Yeah.
So it's there. I just need to pull it off, and I'll be trying again this next year.
Well, Bill, speaking of 2024, what's your goals for this year?
Well, my goals is to just keep the car running and gradually make better times. You know, this in 2023, on MitsuTimes list, best times list that you got, I put in a new record best for me 2 or 3 times last year.
Yep, absolutely.
But every time, it was just a few thousandths of a second. And I need to make that tenths instead of thousandths. And
I'll take them. I'll
One
take
of
them
my
however you send them. I'll take them.
Well, I'll be happy to send them even if they're small increments.
Yep.
But for next year, I plan on mainly racing local races that I can compete in.
Yeah.
Kind of want to do small tire stuff, but those cars are so fast it'd be hard for me to compete. So I'm going to try to find some index classes I could run in. Maybe a little bit of IFO. I got to drive a long ways to get to an IFO race, so it's not financially acceptable for me to do that too much. But I'd like to hit a couple of them. And the shootout is definitely on the list.
Good deal.
So, win, lose, or draw, I'll be at the shootout trying to represent the old folks.
I know that they shut down I-64 Speedway on you, so now you've got even less out there.
They did?
Yeah, they made a post in January saying they weren't going to open for 2024.
News to me. How about that?
Yep.
They have a lot of nice. They had a lot of nice local races. The heads-up races they would put on. What was it? Real Street Revolution was the events they put on there, and they would have like 10 different classes, and all kinds of different street cars could compete. I'm sorry to see them go. Maybe a Real Street Revolution will host the races. Find another host for the races.
Real good surface too for a track in the middle of nowhere.
Well, everybody likes that track, but my main track is Kentucky Dragway.
Oh, good deal.
It's a quarter-mile drag strip, and I have like 3 or 4 drag strips within like 90-mile radius of me. That Edgewater in Cincinnati, Ohio Valley in Louisville. There's London Dragway and Kentucky Dragway, and Owensville that you say is extinct now. Damn, I hate that.
Yeah, I'll send you the post after we get off here.
It seems like I should have seen it, but I was off Facebook for a couple months.
Yeah.
And I'm out of touch now, maybe.
Yeah, I hate to see them go. I'm glad Ohio Valley's still kicking, though.
Oh, Ohio Valley will be there, I think, because it's the only drag strip around the Louisville area.
Yeah.
And that's a big population, so and they keep it busy.
Yeah, they do.
It's packed every time they're open.
Even testing 2 nights, you'd be lucky to get 10 runs in.
Well, I don't know if you get that many in, because it's pretty crowded.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You'd be lucky to get 10.
Oh yeah, it's an 8th-mile track, and they keep it running.
Yeah.
So a lot of times the cleanups on quarter-mile tracks take a lot longer.
Yeah.
And you get more passes in on an 8th-mile track.
Yeah.
This episode of the MitsuTimes podcast is brought to you by Darren Thomas Racing. They're an automotive performance and engine service shop located in the Oklahoma City metro area. They have specialized in the DSM platform for the last 20 years, but are not limited to only DSMs. They offer in-house machine work, full performance builds, repairs, and tuning. They are best known for their automatic transmission repairs and service. Some of the quickest auto Mitsubishis on our list rely on Darren Thomas Racing transmissions. Contact them on Instagram or Facebook at Darren Thomas Racing.
Well, Bill, do you have a long-term goal in mind, a number that you want to hit with this car?
Oh wow! Last year I was thinking I could run 7s and 4s, but that's a lofty goal. My car's a little too heavy, and I don't have enough skill. I need, with the ECU and stuff. But I don't think I'm going to be able to hit 7s and 4s, but I'm just going to keep on pushing for better ET times.
Yeah.
Smaller increments is something I guess I'll have to accept.
You ought to take it to Haltech's open house and just see if Josh or one of them guys that get behind the keyboard there.
Well, now let me name drop somebody.
All right.
Is an old buddy of mine. His name is Eric Gash. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
Sounds familiar.
Well, he used to run Haltech. He used to be the general manager of Haltech
Okay.
USA. Yeah, I met him when he was in high school.
Oh, wow.
And I was in my 40s, going through a midlife crisis, and just divorced, and bought me a 1990 Eagle Talon that I was just thrilled with. And I happened to meet another guy in town here in Lawrenceburg. The town's about 8,000 people. And I met somebody else had a DSM, and he was in high school. His name was Eric Gash. And I helped him out, helped him make his car faster and stuff. And over time, he ended up being the manager of Haltech. Now, last year, or maybe 2 years ago, he dropped out of Haltech and started his own company.
Okay.
And I would like to tell people the name of his company and stuff, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
He now runs an outfit called Barely Able Racing. And he sells all kinds of stuff. He tunes cars. He can remote tune. So I'll give him a little plug.
There you go.
Go to barelyablерacing.com. See what he's got. He can help you out. He's tuned my car for me. And I didn't have any problems when he was tuning it. But when I started opening up the laptop, I created my own problems. But he's an expert Haltech guy. And he started his drag racing life with a 4G63 DSM. So he knows about our cars. And he might be able to help some of us out. So give him a call and help yourself out.
Heck yeah. Especially if you're local to us.
Yes.
What a wealth of knowledge.
He's headquartered in Lexington. And he's mostly a small tire guy. He's got a fast as hell small tire Mustang right now. Runs deep in the fours. I probably wasn't supposed to say that. It's mostly no time stuff. So
I'll take it out.
Well, everybody else runs deep fours too. So I don't think it's a big secret.
Well,
what else you want to know?
Bill, besides the Conquest and your original 1G DSM, have you had any other Mitsubishis?
Yes. I've had 10 or 12 DSM.
Oh, no kidding.
Yes, I would buy them, I'd part them out, I'd try to fix them up, and then resell them over time. I just love the DSM platform. My favorite car my whole life, I'm 71, so that's a whole lot of cars. In my whole life, that 1990 Eagle Talon all-wheel drive, my very favorite car.
Good deal.
I like that car even better than the Conquest.
You just need an auto and a trans brake.
Yeah. Well, hats off to anybody that's drag racing a DSM because they have some talent. That's all I got to say.
Well, Bill, if somebody out there, they have a Conquest or a Starion, they want to build it for drag racing, what advice would you give them for their build so they can avoid maybe some of the setbacks you may have had over the years?
All right, well, the Starquest is not the ideal platform to make a drag car out of. They're pretty heavy. And if you're gonna build one and use an automatic transmission, start with automatic Starquest. The drivetrain tunnel is bigger.
Oh wow!
I had to do a whole lot to make the Power Glide fit in the standard transmission Starquest that I had. I mean, Eric had beat the hell out of the tunnel to make it fit, and then when I put the hincher adapter plate in, that moved it back a quarter inch or so.
Oh yeah.
And I had to really deform it to make the transmission fit. So if you just having a wider transmission tunnel really help. Also, the RS independent rear suspension and the Starquest are a little bit weak. After you hit past 600 horsepower, you'll start breaking stuff left and right.
Yeah.
And after you pass that level, you need to do something about the rear end.
That's cool that you used one from a Fox Body Mustang. I mean, it seems like those got to be a dime a dozen these days.
Yeah, it costs quite a bit for the fabrication to put it in. If you want to use a triangulated four length.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it costs. Well, the guy who did mine said he would charge $8,000 to do it again.
Wow.
So that's how much it costs to put that in there. But I have to say it was worth it. To me, $8,000 is a lot, but it really. I don't have any broken parts anymore.
Right.
The engine is the only thing I have to worry about anymore. Keeping the head gasket sealed is such a big dilemma for me. This last motor had it was O-ringed, and I still managed to break the seal on it.
Wow.
but that was probably because of my bad tuning. Tuning is everything.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it really is, especially these days.
Yep, it is.
A lot of hidden horsepower.
I wonder if I could mention a few things about the old days.
Yeah, go ahead.
I started out with that 90 Talon. I bought it in 1997, and when I was looking for one forever. I remember seeing the advertisements on TV about this airplane, this Air Force pilot took it around a test track, and he liked it so much. And I thought, man, I'd like to have one of those cars one day, and I finally bought one. And on the test drive, it hooked me right off the bat.
Wow.
Because I had never experienced turbo lag.
Yeah.
And that turbo lag just made that car feel like it wants to run. And it hooked me right off the bat. And very next year, I went to the shootout, 1998, with a totally stock Talon. Drove it up there, drove the 300-400 miles up there, and drove it back. And it's been escalating ever since.
Back when the shootout was one day, huh?
Yeah. That one car changed my whole life.
Wow, that's amazing.
I was not interested in cars very much or racing or going fast. I just thought I'd want a peppy little four-cylinder to scoot around town in, And before I knew it, I was calling Busher Racing. I was getting the Midsog report. Have you ever heard of that? It was a newspaper, little newspaper kind of thing they put out. It's a printed thing. They put out early in the years. It's the Mitsubishi and Diamond Star Owners Group.
Oh, wow.
Was the name of it. There was also something called the Talon Digest. It was the very first thing on the internet. It was just text only, the message board, and we get on there and talk about our DSMs. And we did, and that was good until DSM tuners came on the
Kind
scene.
of took over after that.
Yeah. But the guy who ran Talon Digest, his name was Todd Day. He started modifying factory ECUs too.
Oh, okay.
And that's who started TMO ECUs. He would reverse engineer them.
Oh, okay.
And he made it where we could catalog stuff.
Wow.
With the ECU. And it was the early days.
Yeah.
And it was, all that stuff was so informative and everything. It really added to the DSM platform and the beginnings of, like where we are today.
It really paved the way for you.
Yes, it did. Not from just me.
For a lot of people.
Old guys.
Yeah.
I mean, David Busher was a big influence in the early years.
That's so cool to see, the roots of DSM tuners and the roots of what we do today.
Yep, I think I joined DSM tuners in 2004. I don't know when it started, but that's pretty close to the origination date.
Wow. That's so cool.
And I want to thank you for what you're doing.
Well, I appreciate it, Bill.
The DSM Times, I mean, not DSM Times. That's the old. The Mitsubishi Times list that you got I want to climb that list.
Heck yeah. I just bought the DSM Times domain, so you can type in dsmtimes.org. It'll take you to MitsuTimes now.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
But for years, that was the only thing we had to go to.
Yeah.
And your website with the Times list has motivated me to try to keep going faster.
That's what I like to hear.
So you have offered motivation to me. Thank you.
That makes everything worth it, Bill.
It does. I mean, keep it up. Appreciate it.
Will do. So, Bill, if people want to find and follow you on social media and see this gorgeous Starquest, in some pictures, where can they find and follow you at?
Well, I'm on Facebook, Bill Walls, and that's it.
Okay.
But I also have a YouTube channel.
Yep, that's right.
I want everybody to go to it, give me some views and some likes. The name of the channel is Drag Racing Conquests.
Got some great footage from the shootout from 2023, so definitely go check it out.
Yeah, and I might put some old footage from the DSM days.
Yeah.
But it won't be 1080p quality. Next year, I plan on keeping the video channel going, and I'm going to try to make it more lively. And I don't know if you ever heard of this guy, but Turbo John has incentivized me to do the video, and I'd like to model it after what he does. I don't know if you've ever seen his channel.
I'm not familiar.
He's just old hillbilly drag racer like me, but he's got an old Mustang. He likes to no prep.
Yeah.
But that's not anything to do with Mitsubishis. That's just the video channel I want to model myself after.
Yeah. Kind of do what he's doing, sort of
Yep.
deal.
So it's Drag Racing Conquest on YouTube. I'd appreciate it if everybody tuned in.
Yes, sir. And there'll be a link if you look wherever you're watching this or listening to this podcast, there'll be a link at the bottom to Bill's YouTube channel.
Thank you.
So, Bill, at the end, I always give people a chance to give a thanks or a shout out to anybody who's helped them get where they are, get their car where it is. I know we talked about a lot of people. Is there anybody that you want to give a shout out to?
Well, I already gave a shout out to the main guy that's helped me the most.
Yeah.
And that was Eric Gash and Fairly Able Racing. And in the early years, although we ended up not getting along too well, Dave Busher really helped me. I have to express a little bit of gratitude to him, even though we ended up not being real good friends. But he did help me. So
Good deal.
I put a shout out to him and him putting on the shootout. That's such a big deal for
Absolutely.
our community. So I'll have to give him a shout out for that.
Awesome. Well, Bill, I can't thank you enough. I know you're a busy man. Thank you for coming on here and telling your story. And I hope that we can get some more people to your YouTube channel. I hope we can get some more people out there racing their Conquest, taking it to the track.
And as a matter of fact, I hope we can do this again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next year, after I've had a really incredible, successful year.
Yeah. Look forward to it. I can't wait to see you at the track, Bill.
I'm going to give you some new times to put down on your list.
Absolutely. Even if it's a 1,000th better, send it to me. I'll get it updated.
An improvement isn't an improvement.
That's right.
All right.
Well, thanks again, Bill, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Let's talk again.
Yes, sir.
See you on the internet. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the MitsuTimes podcast. Check out our Instagram and Facebook for daily updates. Get added to our list by going to MitsuTimes.org and clicking Submit a Slip. Thank you to all of our sponsors.